Okay, part 3. I keep forgetting to keep an eye on the time, so I'll take a quick look at it here. So 4:17, so I have till 4:27-ish. And I was talking about this book. So yeah, definitely check out the video where she shows making these and other types of tag pocket things. They're just totally fun. You could even put these, you know, if you made them, you could totally put them into, you know, cook these together and put them as a, you know, into a book. And that would be totally fun. You could, and it could, you know, it's a little long for this book, but if you adjusted the size, you could totally do that. So on this one, what I have left now is putting on the charm, book corners, and I only have 2 sets of book corners. So I will only be able to do 2 of the books like that, and then I'll need to order the book corners. Hopefully I'll have enough money this week or next week to do that, because I'm planning on making a bunch of books coming up, and while it may take me a while to finish them all, I want to, you know, kind of do it in stages so that it's easier. Now, I said in part 3 I would show you the covers on the other books I did. So that's, I did this today. I did the covering the books over the weekends. I sewed in those signatures. I have a few things I want to add into, not this book, because this one, the way the spine is, that's all it's going to hold. The spine is not very flexible on this, and again, I had some flaws with this. You can see a little bit of the blue here, but I think I'm just going to touch that up with a little bit of orange paint, and here too, because of the way that because I didn't replace the spine. So for these, I chose mostly florals, all in shades of pink, but that's not because I love pink or anything. It is because the pad of paper that I bought, and it's really the only one I have right now, is mostly florals, and so there's a lot of pink. So this is one of the books, and so I chose this. This feels very vintage to me. I like the yellows and the oranges, and I chose a contrasting. So this paper again is the more cardstocky paper, and I think I like working with this on the covers, and I need to get maybe another pad of plain paper that's in this weight for the spines, because I don't like working with the thinner paper on the spines. Yes, it's more flexible, but it also gets damaged easier. So I haven't chosen end papers for this yet. But you can see there's a little damage up here where it got glued to itself, and I can fix that with a little, again, just a little orange paint touch up. You know, it's handmade. It's not going to be perfect. I've marked the top and the bottom. I need to punch the hole here. And this one will have holes punched in it here and here for a tie closure. Just because since it's got all this bloom now, as I add into it and do stuff, it's going to bloom even more. So this one, yeah, I'm in frame. I love just this floral paper. It's got a beautiful creamy feel to it. On the end paper will probably be something plain, or maybe some book paper or something like that. I could even do images from the Edith Wharton, like the text from one of the pages, because those just look gorgeous. I haven't decided yet. And these are the 2 signatures that are going to go in there. And I'm not going to trim those down, even though they creep out, because when I put it in the book, and that's how it'll be, you know, flush like that, it comes right up to the edge, and I feel good about that, and I like the way it looks. So I think that I'm not going to trim any of these papers. I'm not going to fall into the trap I fell into with the other book, and I obsessively trimmed all the papers until I was unhappy with the size, how they lay in the book. But that's all this is going to take. I'm going to add in just a couple more things. A couple of these dip dyed papers, and just a few more different sized, these are non-tea dyed, because I didn't have anything tea-dyed available, but just a couple different sizes, because all of my pages are fairly uniform, so I'm just throwing in a few things that are differently sized for the contrast and the visual. You know, I just like it. Not all of these will go in because there's too many, obviously, for just this one. But a few of these will go in with the dip dyeing on them, because they really do, when I come across them in the other signature for that book, I really like the way they turned out. It's visually appealing to me. I did this with a metallic polka dot for one of the books. I think this is the one my son left. Yeah, this is the one my son left behind. So you can see his little notes that he did. And they were doing some kind of point system for the books they were reading, like how many pages, what reading level it was, and all of that kind of thing. And he got 11 points for this book, and it was considered a level 4.8 book. So that will live on in memory inside of there. And I contrasted it with this turquoise paper. I just liked them together. So that's what I've got so far. And this one doesn't, not flawed in the way that the other one was. Just, they're all going to be, nothing that you upcycle or repurpose is ever going to be absolutely perfect. You can strive towards perfection, but I'm not going to drive myself mad about it. But I like the contrast of the turquoise with the pink and the polka dots. And these will be the signatures that go in that one. And again, I'll add a couple more pages. This one could probably take a third signature, and I may add another one in, just another small one. Because in the one I finished, there's a pretty big gap in the middle. So I could totally sew in another signature. I didn't think it would fit, but apparently it would. It's just a matter of how chunky do I want to make that. I kind of like the way it is. Maybe I'll just leave the 2 signatures and add in a couple more papers. Not as much as I put in this one, because that's just too many papers for those signatures. Lesson learned, I got a little carried away. Again, this will need to have the hole punched in it, and for the closure as well. A little charm on it. So they're all going to be kind of the same, and I have to pick the end papers for this again. But that's what I chose for that one. And then this one, I really love how this one turned out. So this is the upcycled Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy one. It's got the 3 signatures, which I'm going to pump up just a little bit. I may, in fact, add in a 4th signature and only add in a few papers just for some contrasting elements to these ones that are in here. I haven't fiddled with the signatures any, adding, gluing down any folders that I've made. Here, this one's got another, this one will have another label. This one's a cream of mushroom soup label. But I haven't I haven't glued down anywhere where there's just a naturally occurring tuck spot that as I went through, I created them in the first place. I love this paper. It's kind of like a ledger paper with a floral pattern over it. And you can see on the side, it's just like the ledger paper. And then I chose this kind of blue tinted with the brown. I just thought that they looked nice together. So this one I like visually the best, just because the type of paper and the way it looks. They're all the same. This one, again, has a few flaws on it. I had to make a little repair on here somewhere, and I can't really tell now, but I did have a little, no, maybe it was one of the other ones. But, yeah. So, again, hole for the charm. I've got the signatures, and I'm not going to trim these either, because when I put them in there, they come up nice. Maybe this one really long, but I think that's okay. And what I may have is even some, I want to put some tabs in these too. I won't put any in my other one simply because it's, I cut the papers too short, and I'm really disappointed with that one. I'll use it, but I'll probably never truly be happy about the way it turned out. And I did get some doilies tea-dyed over the weekend, so I'll be able to put some doilies on some of the pages, or